think we're going live. Are we going live? Are we live yet? Are we live? We're live. I think we're live. We're live. I'm going to start a fire here. I'm a little bit pumped up. I ain't going to lie. I hope everybody's going to have a great new year. I'll put it out there right now. It's Tuesday. It's a little off because everybody's out, having a good time, being responsible, I hope. I'm going to fire up this thing. I'm going to turn this mic up a little bit. Maybe you can hear me yakking. If you got stuff, throw it in the comments. I was just playing around. I thought maybe I'd start a little fire if I can get it this time. I don't know. This thing's always temperamental sometimes. You know what I mean? Let's check her out. Let's check. Oh, that's the right way, correct? That is the correct way. If it helps when you got a little bit drier firewood, that good stuff. I did have, just so you guys know, I got to say this more often. I'm sorry. I don't sometimes reply back on the comments. I get the first one, but then there's a section that's for the reply part. I don't always get that. You guys are more welcome to ask any questions, concerns, anything that you like. You know what I mean? More welcome. Hopefully you can kind of hear me being away from the mic. I turned it up a little bit, but we'll see. Just playing around. See how things are going. Somebody asked me if they're going to come out with a new opener. Oh. We'll see how that does for a second. And I don't know. I don't know if they're going to come out with a new opener this year or not. Whoa. Does anybody know if they're going to come out with a new opener? Anybody hear anything that's going on? What's up, Rusty? Rusty, hope you're doing good. Doing good. Rusty, I was feeling the pain, man. I was feeling the pain. I'm so happy. I really am. Excuse me. I'm really happy you shared that story with me, so I didn't have to feel alone. I'm telling you, sometimes in the industry, I'm sure you can relate with it and other people can relate with it. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I call it, if anybody's got better terminology, let me know. But I call it blowback. You know what I mean? And I don't know why it is. I don't know why it's like when you work. I don't know how to explain it. It's like you're being punished, but you're not being punished. But it's like the harder you work, the harder it blows back. If that makes sense. You know what I mean? So you spend the late night, you get stuff ready, and the next day just blows up. It's just weird like that. I don't understand why it works like that in the business. I've done it so many times. Had it sometimes, like I said, sometimes I don't know why. I've had guys get mad at me for loading up their vehicles. They can come in the morning and they're like, "Who loaded my vehicle? Who loaded my van?" I'm like, "I did." "Why'd you do that?" "Oh, figured to help get the day going." I did see a little foobar again. I guess Wayne Dalton is up to their shenanigans. One of the guys had to come back, and I guess they forgot the flag bracket. Good old Wayne Dalton. They are notorious for getting flag brackets, and this was a non-insulated 8,000 series door. So that was a bummer. So that's another trip back to the shop. You know what I mean? That's just a bummer that they do that. I mean, why? Oh, that's right. I can throw you guys up here. I forgot we're on this software. Hope that fire keeps going, man. It's ripping. Make sure the flue's open. I'm not smoking me out. What's up? What's up, Rusty? Evan's in the house. Evan, I can't believe, dude, you got that door. I was thinking, I was going to ask you, Evan, how much was the cable? You ended up doing a little cable job. What happened to the old cable? Did the old cable get frayed, or was it rust out, or got the fancy cup today? Got some affordable door and gate stuff. We had a friend make these a while back ago. Got our names. I should have her make one that says Uncle Dave. What you got? Wish I knew could clamp the door yesterday instead of unwinding the springs to change cables. I'm an idiot. I wish I knew I could have clamped the door, huh? Clamp the door. I don't know. I don't know if I quite follow you, Evan, on that one. I wish I knew I could just clamp the door yesterday instead of unwinding springs. I've back wound. That's what I've done before. I back wound the springs before if it's a small door. And then what I do is if it's if it's like a bigger door, 16x7, let's say with 2 springs, I will actually it helps to have extra winding bars. So if I like to normally run around with like 3 minimum, 4 just in case for whatever you got to cut something down. I don't know. It's just more the merrier, right? So, but you can dump the one spring, right, and then you can actually take the other spring and back wind that one. So you dump the one, let it rest on the door. You can dump the spring, another one back wind it, but you need another bar to stick in it. So you got to have 3 winding bars. Total. Do. But whatever you do, just be safe. Be safe. Springs are dangerous. Dangerous. What you got? Old cable snapped. Replace both. Perfect. They line up. Everything was good. Were the same thickness for a cable? Just curious. Sometimes I like the thinner cable. Is it 3/32? That's the thinner one, right? And then it's, what is it, 5? What is it, 5 something? And then it's 1/8 or quarter. I can't remember what it's 1/8. I think it's 1/8. I have to look in the book. Where's the book? I know we carry 3 sizes typically. Old cable snapped. Snapped. Back wind the spring, Evan. That's what I do. Back wind that puppy. Where are we at? Evan's got, I'll send a video I saw after I finished the job to explain what I meant by clamping the door yesterday instead. Clamping, huh? Yeah, send me a video. Because did you raise it up? Why do I feel like, what's always a bear on those things? It always seems like, if they're pinned, but they don't typically, I guess it's more commercial. I haven't done a commercial one in a while, right? The commercial ones, like, it's nice if you can get them up. You can stick like a 2x4 under them and let them rest because it'll give you just enough room. I even like it probably a little higher than 2x4, like 2 2x4 stacked, sandwiched. You know what I mean? So you can get your bottom bracket off and spin it out if you ever work on a commercial style door. Residential, so not bad. Resis, because you got the button. You can just pop it off with a screwdriver. I like to carry a big fat screwdriver, a long one, hefty one, a good hefty one. Get those puppies in, pop it off, and I can pop them on, the loop, whatever you call it, the loop to hoop. They were heavy gauge cable that I took out. Oh, so was it heavier gauge? Was it heavier gauge than what was on there? What kind of door? Do you know, Evan, what kind of door it was? Was it like a, Clopay, Wayne Dalton, Amar? I mean, I know you haven't done a lot probably, Evan, but what do you see up in your neck of the woods by chance? Do you see a common door manufacturer? I always like the small cables, typically for the Wayne Daltons, especially if it's going to be on any of that small stuff, plastic stuff they use. Heavy gauge. Wayne Dalton, yes. Wayne Dalton they use thinner cables. They are a thinner cable person. There's no doubt about that. I don't think there's really a problem. I think the thinner kind of winds on better a little bit. The bigger stuff is okay too. I forget why I like normally the thinner. I feel like because I'm trying to think, like the Torque Masters, I don't ever restring the Torque Masters. You know what I mean? Those are like, no. You don't ever run those cables out of those drums because it's like you'll never get them back in. But the thinner cables, sometimes it just all depends. I feel like, I normally lean towards whatever was on it. I go back with it. It just seems like it sits on it a little nicer sometimes. The bigger cables, like, it's weird because you get the Clopay / Ideal stuff from like Menards. And they got that's what it is. They got the small drums. They got the biggest, fattest, heaviest cable, it seems like. And it's like, good golly, all this big, heavy cable on a small drum. Like, I mean, they should definitely do the next size down, you think, because it's like, this cable's trying to wrap on this small little drum. It's kind of goofy. Dwayne Dalton. I just picked up cable from Door Place here. Oh, I just picked up. So cables, did you I know you mentioned you picked up the cables. I think they're already pre-made, right? Are you mentioning now, like, did you pick up extra cable or like a spool of it? I'm assuming, I haven't looked, but I'm assuming you could find that stuff on Amazon. Let me just take a little. Let me take a little. Oh, I see Evan's already sending me stuff. Let me Google. Google, where are you at? Let's do a quick little search here. Garage door cable Amazon. Oh snap! Yeah, they got it on here. Got 9.6 feet, $10. Wow, it's cheap. $10. $10, no holla. I don't know if it's going to show up on the, how this thing works. It's like never works. $10. What is this? 2-pack, 6 foot. It doesn't say what. I was hoping I could find like a spool of cable. You got pulleys for the things. Doesn't look like they got a spool. Maybe I need to word it in there. Cable, we'll just spool. Amazon. Oh, snap, right there. Now, I don't know if that's a bad price. I haven't bought it in a while. This is 3/16, and they got quarter. $100, $101, $102 if you want to be exact. This has in stock wire rope, vinyl. It's vinyl coated. Wait a minute. What's going on here? Aircraft cable. Oh, no. No, this might not be it. No. Oh, here we go. Wire rope. Why do they call it wire rope? Stainless steel. It's got swedges. 13/16 galvanized aircraft cable. It's probably close enough. So I mean, you might be able to find it. I mean, it's a little bit tough. Let's jump over here, see what's up. Bam. It was a Wayne Dalton steel back door. 8x10. That's a weird size. 8 wide, 10 tall, or 10x8. Remember, Evan, we always go width. In the garage door industry, we always go width first. Width. How wide? Wide load coming down. So it's width and then height. Otherwise, it gets a lot of people messed up. I mean, residential people always come. I got a 7x16. So it's only 7 wide, 16 tall. That's you sure? Well, that's a double stall. That's right. It's a 16x7. Lots of corrosion on the door. I think that's why it snapped. Other cable on its way out. Yeah, sometimes you can if you talk to the customer, you can kind of ask them politely and be like, "So are you throwing like a lot of salt around here or something?" "Oh, yes, because I don't like to slip and fall, so I really salt it heavy in this area where we walk," or whatever they're doing. Salt is really, really gnarly on them. Another thing I do, I'm not going to say it's like a bulletproof guarantee. I just figure it can't hurt. New cables, or even or like when I'm lubing the door, it depends, right? If this is a pristine garage, like, I mean, we're talking really clean, really nice place. I don't get too wild with the lube. I don't want them being like, you got spray lube everywhere. But if it's the crusty leaves and cobwebs and everything, it's all about function, baby. It's not to look pretty. So what I do is when I'm spraying the rollers and stuff, I actually will spray about, I don't know, 6-8 inches, a foot, maybe. Not really, probably a foot, more like 6 inches or so, 6-8 inches. I'll actually spray the cable and so that way it kind of like drips down slowly. I'll spray the cable just to keep it soaked in oil. I never really did science behind it, but honestly, I think you could get away like a product I like just having around the house, and I like kind of having on. I liked it as an option on my truck was fluid film. It's made for rust proofing, and that stuff, like if you wanted to switch over and just spray the cables, or you get into a high corrosive area, like sometimes like for our road commissions and stuff like that. I like that product. I think they got another product. I think PB Blaster's making it. It's called Surface Shield. I think the Surface Shield's actually better than the fluid film, but for whatever reason, the PB Blaster Surface Shield stuff, before the can's ever empty on me, I still have a quarter in it, and it's like it just gets clogged up. I don't know how it's got one of those balls and it rattles. I rattle them all the time, whatever. It gets clogged up in it. That's really irritating. The fluid film seems to work pretty much flawless. You know, like it doesn't get plugged up on me. I was actually just using some tonight. And of course, my one that had a quarter in it, Surface Shield, I couldn't get nothing out of it. So I went to the old, well, I actually had another new can. So I went to the other new can, Surface Shield. Dun, 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 dun. Gonna get packs of cables. I'm gonna get packs of cables from Amazon. Nice. The only thing I worry, Evan, is I sent you that thing. I know it's expensive. I think I thought I was buying them cheaper through like Service Spring or something. I thought I was getting them for like 300. I'm sure they're $300-400. 500 seems a little high, 500-600, but that might be what they're at. But what I worry about is you really need to get your hands on. I think it's a very vital tool. Can you get away with like, you know, a pair of cable cutters and like a hammer? Yes. But all it takes is those few times that you have a wedge come off and you get a call back, and it's, you know, it gets to be, so you, eventually when you get the money or whatever, I was going to look around. I swore I had one of those crimpers. I was thinking, I was like, dude, I'll pretty much send that thing to you. But I don't know what happened to it. I haven't seen it around. I was thinking about it, but it's nice to have that swedger. Even if you don't have the case, I really like the case. I really highly recommend it because everything stays nice and organized. And then that's like my go-to, you know what I mean? That's like you open up your, let's just say your pow case, you know what I mean? You got your clips, you got your magazines, you got the bullets, you got ammunition, boom, all right there in that case. So I definitely would start trying to save a few nickels and eventually get your hands on one. That's been just always a game changer to me. You know what I mean? Like that's just a must have, because otherwise I'm not disciplined to have a case. And I've done it before we have a case, and like, there's cheaper ways you can do it in a sense. Like I bought the ones that have drawers that pull out and you have them in there, but it's just the case. When you open it up, you can quickly look and go, I'm getting low on something. I need more swedges. I need more crimps or whatever. But what I'm getting at is that if you run into just something, I mean, I think most of the time the residential is pretty straightforward, but gosh, I just hate for you to, you know. I just watched the video Evan was talking about. He says they changed cables in the air. Oh, and just popped them off the drum. Yeah, that's kind of a hard way to. I didn't see that. I have to watch it, but yeah, that's a little more. That's a little more difficult for sure. For sure. Yeah. So that means you got like wrap it all back on and stuff. That's not fun. That no fun. I changed a set of commercial bottom brackets and cables today up in the air because they were through bolted. Ooh, through bolted. Yeah. That's tough, man. That's tough. I don't know if I've had one. I'm not going to say never, but it doesn't come across. Maybe on like a wood door or something goofy, but yeah, that's not fun. I mean, you know how it is. Rusty's done it. You've done it. We've done it every way, you know, imaginable. It seems like you just do what you got to do. But it's good. It's good for Evan. Hey, you're learning, you know what I mean? Every time you touch it, you're learning. And, you know, like I said, you got a great community here. You're great. Like, you know, ask questions, you're learning, you know. I'm trying to think of anything I've done goofy, but typically no. Resis are pretty easy. I normally like a knee pad. So if you can eventually buy one of those knee pads, they're in the big box stores, those concrete pads for concrete workers. They got the two little handles on the side. Got a pad. I love those. I used to always just be out on my knees and my car hurts and stuff. And, you know, then sometimes I had a pair of gloves or something in the truck. So I'd shove the gloves under my knees. knee pad. I really am kind of digging like the headlamp. I like a headlamp, and I don't have it on me, but I also have a side flashlight. So sometimes I take the flashlight and just set it on the ground, just give me more light down there to pop stuff off, get the cable out of there. Works out real good. Because lighting starts to be a kind of a problem in some of those garages, especially they ain't got no windows or the lights aren't that good, and it's just not fun not being able to see. Coast, I think Coast. I've had pretty good luck with Coast flashlights and stuff. From those are, I think Home Depot has those ones. I've always liked Coast. They work pretty good. Excuse me. Bam. Yeah, I messed up. Size 10x8 was what I meant. Okay, that makes more sense. I figured. I thought, well, that's a weird size, but you never know. Could have been some custom thing got roped into. 10x8, nice sweet door. Not too bad. Evan, how did you get this job? Was it a referral? Ooh, good question, Rusty. Good question. Good question. Dave, I still use a hammer. Oh man, do you really? I never had one come off. Wow, man, you're lucky. You're lucky. I've actually um I've had so what I normally do is like when I swedge them, the bottom ones aren't so bad with the loop. You know what I mean? Those, because you think about it, it's kind of like the rope system, right? Like how like when you're using a winch and stuff like that. So it's got more. It doesn't have so much strain on it. So those ones I use whatever size is typically. For me nowadays, it's always a feel. The problem I had with smacking them with a hammer, because I have done it, is inconsistency. That was my problem. So I've had it before where because I've had a couple come off, and you guys know how it is when you're in the midst of it, right? And either you got sweat coming down you or your fingers are freezing up on you. And I mean, you know what I mean? And you have something come off that you just did the work. I mean, it's really irritating. You know what I mean? So I've had it where they popped off before or something, and then the problem I've run into is normally if I got somebody working with me, they're pretty much dead in the water because I can have them start building cables while I'm either tearing something apart or doing something because they don't really understand. And it's like, hey, stick this in here, use this one, crimp it. So I always really like the tool because I used to smash them too, right? And I've had them before. I smashed them so hard I split them. I've had them before too. They split and I didn't even know it. There was a hairline split in them, and I had to come back and it broke. But like my top ones, the top button, what I normally do, I swedge it, and then now I normally leave I leave that loose one. Like if you ever install doors, you're always like, why is there this like extra swedge in here? I used to think it was for leveling out the door. Then I found out talking to a guy one time, he says, no, that's so it sits in the drum, because after you smash the top ones, they get kind of deformed. They could pop out. He said, so I normally do that. And then I take a little piece of electrical tape, just kiss it, you know what I mean? Pinch them together so that darn thing doesn't go rattling down on you when you're up in a lift. And then the one I'll normally crimp it, right? The one I'm crimping. And then if it still doesn't feel quite sweet enough, I'll go to the tip of it and I'll actually use the next size down and I'll smash that down a little bit tighter. And that normally works pretty good. But that tool is amazing. It's amazing. I might even grab it. I think I got one. What's up, Tony? Happy New Year's. Hey, just enjoy the fire for a second. I'm gonna grab the tool. I gotta touch it. I really do. Got me thinking about it. I'll be back. No, 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 no. You know how it is. It's like Tony really likes the Sherwinder. I buy these all the time for the guys, right? This bad boy. It's just one of those things you got to spend the money, man. Sometimes you just got to spend the money. A little bit. Safety first. But this nice hard case, this bad boy, got a little dust on her. It's been a minute. Beautiful case. Got a handle. Now, you notice I'm not tipping it. I've learned don't tip it. It'll hold up. But you pick it up, and especially if it's something like a rookie. But I like these. Look at these bad boys. Where are they at? Oh, we're getting into it, baby. These are the best things since sliced bread. Those bad boys. Spring loaded. Look at that. Got a little lock on the side to keep it locked for you. Flips right in here. Goes to. And I like these ones. I think they got the other kind that sit. I never really used them. But these bad boys, man. Look at those. Look at those. And then what's the best thing? You also got a cutter right here. So you also have a cutter right here. So if that one fails on you, I use this on most of the heavy duty commercial stuff. You can pops that puppy right there. These are all made for you. You just get your chompers. Really nice. Really nice. It's got this nice, it's got that nice, you guys, oh, do that one more time. That's feeling. Comes with some kind of instructions, but the nice part is this, right? It's got the little flapper. Bada bing. See, it tells you. So now it's all idiot proof. Look at all your, there's stuff in here, the ones I don't even use, like, well, once in a while, once in a blue moon. But you got all that. So what I like is I can identify it. Oh, I'm getting low, fill it up. Well, which one is that? This one. Order this one. Beautiful. Oh, Papa Tony's got one. But don't let a rookie pick that darn thing up. I've had that happen. And all of a sudden you hear it. I am not going to make the noise for you on that. It goes. And then it's when you want to cry. Tony, happy New Year's, boys. Happy New Year's to you, Tony. Hope you're doing good. Oh, Wayne Dalton is notorious for cable snapping and nipples to the buttons, brackets, rusting, and breaking off. Interesting. I think Tanner doesn't like Wayne Dalton. They are thinner, though. They are thinner cables and stuff. So it does happen. It does happen. That's right, Rusty. Guaranteed every time. Tony, do you got one of the tools? You got the case, or do you just got like the tool and then the swedges are separate? I'm just curious. I really like everything to be in one place, especially for that. That's one of those ones I just, when I'm loading up or I'm making another service vehicle, I'm like, it's got to have that. It sucks. It's $300, $400, $500, whatever they cost. But you just got to have it because it's just so easy to keep everything. Because I bought the tool, to save money, which nothing wrong with that, right? But the tool turns into a backup, especially if you buy a case. So it's kind of one of those things I'd rather cry once. Because what would happen is I buy these weird compartments at, you get them at Lowe's, Menards, Home Depot, and you fill them up. Well, they get scratched. So it's kind of hard to see them. And unless you permanent marker, which even the permanent marker can run out, it's hard to identify, like, what are they? I can't remember all the numbers. You know what I mean? Like, I look at it and I'm like, I think this is, I think that's, so I like it that I can look at the case and I go, it's out. And when you have technicians, they can look at the cases too and tell you, hey, we got to order more swedges or whatever. It's nice if you can keep things uniform when it comes to that, except for power tools. Oh, I'll have to send this to Tanner because I took a picture at Lowe's and I was thinking, I wonder if this is the same power tool that he's using, but it might be a cheaper model. If I dig it up here in a second, we'll see. That's right. Tony. I'll be in and out. Well, make sure you shut the door, okay? We don't want to let the cold in or the heat out, okay? Just like a damn kid, I tell you. In and out. You're outside, you're inside. Pick one. Rich B. Hey, check that out. Look, he's got, oh man, check out that profile picture. That's cool. Happy New Year. Hope you're doing good. Happy New Year. Anybody here? I was mentioning earlier, somebody commented about, maybe any new openers coming out this year. And I was like, that's a good question. I don't know. I just hope that if they do come out, Cap just had actually, it sounded like he just had a Genie circuit board go bad. And it wasn't in warranty anymore. I was like, oh boy. Now, another thing I want to bring up, if anybody's had this, I didn't realize. I hear through the guys that we've gone through a lot of 3-button wall stations, the ones that are for commercial, open, close, stop, the black ones, right around the 3-year mark. When they get about 3 years old, I guess they're just glitching out, which is really hard to believe because there's really nothing but mechanicalism in them. And I guess it's throwing up an error. And this isn't the only location. So I don't know if you guys experienced 3-button problems. They're pretty. I told them, I said, what? I said, I've been installing those for years. And I said, besides them just getting worn out or somebody smashing them or, running into them with something or destroying them. I said, I've never had them where he says, yeah, something sounds like with the stop button gets freaked out. Where are we at? Says, yeah, okay, what's Tanner got? Did I click on that one? Here. Says, yeah, that kit is the only way to fix or replace cables. I use it, the old hammer trick, because did not know about the kit and found out hammering them is now how it's hammering them is not how it's supposed to be done. Well, do it or something. It's right. Yeah. Can cut cables. Can cut cables is got here. Can cut cables in Swedge. Yes. They work nice, man. I tell you, it's just, I mean, I am just really for, systematic. You know what I mean? I love, if there's a tool that'll make my life better, I am all for it. It's, and consistency. It's kind of like why we use, on our fences, we do chain link fence. We use those twisties, with the gun, and they cost a little bit more money, but it's consistent because we did a cemetery one time and we had 2 set of guys, and one set of guys blew through it on one side. Right. And then they came back to the shop and it's all this, well, hey, we got our run done. And then it's like the other guys are going, well, yeah, we could have got our run done too as fast as you, but we were putting double loops on our aluminum ties where you guys were only doing half loops. Yeah. I mean, and I was just like, time out. I was like, so basically I got one side that's done really nice. That's not completed yet. I got another side that's done, that's been ran through, you know what I mean? And this job had slats on it. We already had some wind problems with that job. So it was like, all right, let's go to standardization here. You know what I mean? And there's only one way to do it. You put the screw gun on it with those clips, it twists it, and you're not taking them off. You know what I mean? Like, it's impossible unless you cut them off. You can't kick them. The wind's not going to take them off. You're going to bend poles, line post, end post. Tanner, yes, a hole you run the cable through. Did I miss something on that? Rich says, did you like that service car? Yeah, I like that service car. I ain't giving it to Evan either. Maybe I should send it. I can send that picture or that little clip. I'm all about low, man. I like being low to the ground for my service vehicles. Was that Caddy? Do. Changed a 3-button today on an overhead door. The LiftMaster button works. Same thing. The top button was getting stuck. Interesting. I always know the backside of them always said made in China. But I'm just kind of like, I don't know, man. It just throws me that something is, barbaric as a 3-button that's been around for how many years is having problems. I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like, just another thing to have in the sauce, in the memory bank to go, this could be a problem. It could be your 3-button, So I'm assuming most guys everybody got tomorrow off. There we go. Bam. All right. We're on it. It's kind of a bummer. Sounds like the weather's going to be changing. We're starting to get a little bit of that cold. We haven't had snow yet, but sounds like there's going to be a job Thursday, possibly, that the guys are going to be on the lake, which is going to be really windy and cold. And if anybody's got recommendations that they really like, I've been thinking about, I got an old not propane, but I got a what do you call it? What am I trying to call it? Torpedo. It's a torpedo heater. And I'm thinking honestly about going back to kerosene in it because it stinks so bad. And I don't think I think that's something wrong. It's pretty old. I used it on a job not too long ago, outside even, and I just smelled like diesel so bad when I got home and I was, taking the clothes off, it's like, good golly, man. So I thought about just going propane. Part of me was kind of the Milwaukee's a little expensive, for the heater. The DeWalt was pretty nice, but I'm kind of open maybe for a different kind of design. Just saw something that I'm kind of getting over the fumes, you know what I mean, as I get older. But when I was running for a while there, a couple of years back, I was running not propane, but kerosene to diesel and didn't really notice too much. I think it was running more efficiently, the machine. And but now, man, I've adjusted it. I've tore it apart. It's I think it's time for it to, it turned out to be my outside one. You know what I'm saying? It's like, this thing can just be outside. I ain't using it because using it in a building, man, that's nasty. Ooh. Rich has got the infrared. Works. Okay. I hear you. The only thing the infrared. So here's my theory on it, right? The infrareds work pretty good. Like, I like them for like deer blinds, that's where I like them. But when you're out, like, out in the field, I really like something that blows the heat, because for me, I don't like to spend too much time around it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, heat up the butt a little bit or something, or the backside, and then throw your boot in front of it for a second, heat up the bottom side or whatever, throw your hands, do the little dance, and you just kind of go on your merry way. So I like one that blows a little bit. I mean, honestly, I don't know how long these batteries last with these things, because for some reason I kept thinking, oh, maybe they need to bring a generator, like, because you know how it is. You get on Lake Michigan, man. It's a different animal, and especially if it's facing the lake. It's gonna be windy. It's gonna be gnarly, and it's kind of like a storage unit. So it's not like somebody's garage. And then plus the problem is there's not a lot of it's like a storage unit, so it's not much room in there. I think there's like, some of them have boats, some have cars. They're kind of tight spaces. So I just don't know. And sometimes they just become a problem. You know what I mean? Because you got to basically chase it. Move it here, move it there. Sometimes it's just better off taking breaks, jumping in the vehicle, let the van or service truck or whatever just run, hop in, get warmed up for a few more minutes and jump back out, do your thing. But I don't know what it is with me. I can work a lot longer if I got heat blowing around me. If I can just heat up my hands real quick, heat up the feet, I can normally, It's almost like the noise just keeps me moving. It's like, all right, I got heat right behind me. I'm good. But sometimes you just start getting to that lockup position where you're just like, you can't find relief. And you're like, I think I'm going to freeze to death and die. And then if you sit in a vehicle and you got to let that warm up or, just all depends. What's Rusty got here? Infrared on that. Just sounds, just the sound of a torpedo here keeps me warm. Rusty, I agree. I really think sometimes I think of weird kooky things. And oh, by the way, thank you guys for hitting the like button. But I always wonder. These are the weird conspiracy theories because it's New Year's, right? Why not? We can drift a little bit. Like sometimes with the family, I've noticed like even when you're running like a vacuum cleaner, like you ever know, like you think the noise like helps propel motion for other people. You know what I mean? Like it kind of can keep you moving a little bit, but it also like it's like almost agitates where it's like people are like, oh, they're doing the dishes, a little quicker, everything's getting done, people are moving around. And that's what I wonder sometimes even about like music. If music's in that, like if there's something really hidden behind it where it's like that 5-minute increments, 3-5 minutes, whatever it is. And it's like that, like a little hit of dopamine or something where it's like, it keeps you kind of rhythmized. Like you're kind of, dun, 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 and then you're on to something else. Oh yeah. Boom, 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 whatever, something music. But I agree with like the torpedo heater. It's kind of like the same thing. It's like, it's almost like it's, you got a safe spot to go to for a moment. You know what I mean? It's quick, it's easy, it's fast. It's running. We got to get going, man. This thing's running. It's cold. Let's get the hell out of here, man. Let's just like, the sound of it. I always wonder if there's something more. I never really found too much. I just think it's there. Sometimes that's more like kind of like government stuff, like I always wonder, like, this is my weird theory stuff, right? Like if they promote some of these people, maybe like Kid Rock or Taylor Swift or whoever, right? And they're like, "You're doing a great job. Keep it up. Don't get out of line. We're gonna fund you some money. You know what I mean? We're gonna let you be real popular. Because you're the narrative is good." Dun, 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 dun. Just the sound of the torpedo heater. Dun, 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 dun. When I did HVAC work, if the house had gas pipe, was this a heat stick? I don't know if I know what a heat stick is, which was the length of the pipe with a valve hold drilled in it. I don't know if I know what that is. A heat stick, huh? Just let it blow out or something, which is length of pipe with a valve and hole drilled in it. So just let it blow out type thing. I mean, I've been kind of cheating for like, cause I've been like kind of being cheap and like, I'm like, I don't know if I want one. It's just something to store. And then I know as soon as I get it, I'm like smash it against something and I'll be so mad cause I probably broke it. Open flame. I see it. So like what I've been doing is I got, when I've been working in the garage and stuff, cause I don't have a torpedo heater and I don't really like the smell of the diesel and all that. So what I do is I actually got one of those, what is it? Like a blowtorch. It's a big blowtorch. It hooks your 20-pound propanes. I think roofers use them for torch down. I just lean it up in a certain spot. I need almost like a really nice designated bracket for it. And it just blows some heat off. It's not blowing with wind, but it's just somewhere I can run over real quick. Just do a little, warm the hands up. It takes the chill off. Works pretty good, but it's definitely not very like, it's kind of not safe. Like if it knocked over or for some reason something fell off the shelf the other day and it came close, but not close enough, and I was like, ooh, I was like, good thing I'm here. If that thing was, now it could happen a torpedo heater too. Oh, what's this? Rich has got trash burner. Is that what you call it? Trash burner? It's amazing how many people, my grandparents, I guess, used to burn. They burned a lot of trash. People burned a lot of trash back in the day. I think they buried it. I used to have my grandparents' old house. And I used to find stuff when I was digging out in the yard. I'd be like, what in the heck is this? Soup cans? What is going on? Ooh, weed burner. There you go. Weed burner. Yep. That's a good way to put it. That's right. That's right. That works out pretty good. I've tried all kinds of different stuff. You know, those darn weeds. Sometimes it's a little gasoline, not so good, stinky, not good for the environment. Then it's the old Roundup, and then you can do the old torch. You know, it just all depends on what time of the season, what's going on, all that good stuff. Rich, have you been working? What have you been doing any resis? You been doing any uh doors or openers? You've been kind of quiet on the. I think Papa Tony kind of had the sound like the week and stuff off. I think Friday was it Friday? Friday. I'll be out there. I'll be out there with you guys. I'm gonna be we got a 1 horsepower. I don't know if it's called. I don't know what they call it. It's basically a J50, but it's a 1 horsepower with a brake. I haven't even cracked it open yet. I think it's gonna be on a. I'm gonna be right up there with Tanner. I think it's a. I thought it was 20 by 16 or something. It's a big door. It's a big door. Not as big as his. You know what I mean? You know, he's bigger. uh Hope you didn't find the outhouse. What do you mean with the weed burner or the gas? What are you talking about? Uh Slow now? Yeah. It's that time of year. You know what I mean? Everything's kind of everybody spent their money and everything is it's just always that time of year. It's kind of gloom and doom. I think a lot of people get kind of depressed over the weather. We don't have what's next thing? Valentine's, I mean, nobody, January, February, I don't normally the weather don't bother me too much. I don't like it, but it never really bothers me too much, on those good days, I always feel like I really try to soak it in, like, today's a great day. And save it for those really crappy days where I just have to put my head down and go, it's gonna get better. It's gonna get better. The sun will shine another day. Oh, okay. The buried trash. I gotcha. I gotcha. Luckily for that place, it was only about 3/4 of an acre, and they, I I don't think that place ever had septic, or well, I mean, it had septic, but I don't think it ever had a septic field. Um, I think they always had city sewer. I think because I never was told about a septic tank anywhere, But now I think of it, I bought the house next door. That's a rental, and they had a sinkhole in the front, and I could not get that thing to stop. Like every time I put dirt in it, I mean, I come back like the next day and it would be gone. I mean, and you'd like look in it and it was like endless. I was like, oh my gosh. It's like, what am I gonna do with this place? Like, this is a hazard. And I just kept throwing dirt and dirt. Finally, I started throwing concrete bags down it. Like I was doing anything I could to get this thing to stop. It was just like an endless sinkhole. And I was like, it's got to be the septic tank. And the way the sewer ran, of course, it was heading that way, but they had city sewer. So I don't remember if they ever had a septic tank, but they didn't have an outhouse. I know that. I never heard anything about that since they lived there. They used to actually at one point, I think down the roadways, they used to, it was hard times, man. So they were in a tent for a long time, raising some kids, I've heard stories about them, going in using, I think in the back of the aunt's house, you know what I mean? And you can only take a shower, I think, I want to say once a week, but it might have been every other week. So when they got to that place, man, that was nice. Having running water and all that. Have your own place. The buried trash. Got our treasure. The treasure is there. I wonder if Rusty, do you got any jobs you're gonna do? You taking tomorrow off, or you working tomorrow? Or are you gonna be doing Thursday, Friday? You got stuff lined up. I wonder if Tanner's doing anything too. Or if any of you got anything, throw it in there. Throw in the comments, man. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Everybody's out having a good time. Like I said, it's hanging out. I don't get too excited about it. It's just, every day I wake up, it's my birthday. Every day I wake up, it's New Year's. uh, it threw me the other day when I think it was a couple of days ago. They were talking about some budget, and they were saying the government's budget starts. I don't know what the dates are, but they're already in their first quarter or something. And I'm like, what? It's not even the new year, And I was like, of course, that's how it works, right? Theirs is different than ours or the normal. And that's why they can be whatever. I don't know what the number is now, 36, 37 trillion in debt. If someone calls, I'm going. If no one calls, I'm going archery hunting. Ooh, nice. We actually just got extended, I guess. I think it's for $5. They extended, I think it was rifle. I forget, my dad sent it to me. So we actually got a late season deer hunt stuff going on over here. It would be kind of nice. It would be kind of nice. But like I said, this whole year, the end of the year, the holidays have been just really off. Really a bummer, for everybody. I feel bad. I kind of feel bad for the employees and stuff like that. It screws with me for scheduling too, for just contractors and just all kinds of stuff. Even for me. What you got? What you got? Two 8900s and service Thursday, two more 89s, hundreds. Friday, the 83650. Opener on Saturday. I don't know what's the 89s? Those Lift Masters? 3800. Well, no, what was the one? Yeah, it was a 38, I thought. Are they just all residential, Rusty? The good old openers. I just couldn't believe the guys went out, they had to come back, you know what I mean, for a flag bracket. Need to go back to the old checklist. Everything's got to be checked before you take it out the door. It'd just be nice if companies, Lane Dalton, they'd have their stuff all in the box like it's supposed to be. Doing those jack shafts. What's this one? Whoa. That cat was saved. That cat was from a graveyard up by the trailer. I told the kids to go up. I said, go up there and just check. I got a couple grandparents that it's almost adjoining to the property. And they found a kitten. Kind of weird. Pretty cool. It's actually a really cool cat, but obviously it might die in front of us because it don't look like it's too smart right now. Go ahead, jump in there. Popcorn. What are you doing? Come over here. Someone called two more 80s Fridays and then the Saturday. Jack Shaft. Rusty, do you like kind of promote the jack shafts, or are these like customers that like, you know what I mean? Like, because I definitely would not, I just don't like jack shafts. I just don't like them. I really just don't like them. Unless the customer is real adamant about it, or there's a reason, like a car lift in the, something. I just don't know. Or if you have you been having any problems with them too? Like any weird glitches? I know they got, the sensor's gone. So what is it? Genie's the only one that does a little jiggle. Chunk, 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 you know what I mean? Liftmaster doesn't seem to be doing that, right? Which is kind of nice. It's kind of nice. Doo-doo. Jack shaft. Bam. What do I got here? Oh, I'm trying to click on it. Oh, does this mean we're going to glitch out? I'll probably jump back on if we freeze, because I have to do the whole weird thing. Oh, it must have not hit their numbers. Was it extend it? What you talking about? What you got there? What you got? I'm lost. What you got there, Rich? treasure. I'm going to call. Going to archery. Oh, we're talking about the hunting. Sorry. Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking. There's all kinds of I'm on like a forum. It was really cool because I got to meet the guy that was like in charge of it. And he was like, you need to sign up to um our hunting, our DNR, forum on Facebook. I'm like, okay. He's like, do it right now. So I did. And it's fun. I think it's called like the DNR watch group or something over here in Michigan. And pretty cool group of guys. There's all kinds of information on it. And they're talking about how like stuff's going through legislation. They want to increase our fees on our licenses, of course. And bunch of politics. That's all I can say. Bunch of politics. It's just the stuff that they do is just blows my mind. Blows my mind. Yeah, Dave, if it's torsion set up, he says, then outlet on the side. I give both prices and tell the benefits. For 7 foot. I charge $12.40 for the belt drive and $1,400 for the jack shaft. Most people go for it. Interesting. I'm just I don't know. I just don't like I just do not like doing, it's one thing, like you said, if they got the power, but it's almost like they got to have them both places, which is good because if you do it on the side, then you can put the headlamp or the light fixture up by the center where it kind of belongs. Doo-doo. Doo-doo-doo-doo. What is this? You have the diseased deer up there. We in our area, it's hit and miss. I've never seen it personally up where we hunt. Um, it says it's around. I'm not doubting it's around. But it's kind of weird. You know what I mean? Like it's spotty where it's at. With oh no, the 89s don't come with a light. What? So 89s don't come with a light, and yet I'm not trying to pick on you. I'm just asking here. So and you're charging 14. So for 14, you're charging more. What do you got? No lock, no light. What's wrong with this world? I just no thanks. No thanks. I don't know what it is, man. I just I tell you, I just can't ever get on with the jack shafts. I just cannot unless it has high lift or something where it's warranted it. But I think about so many options I've had, like like I remember one time we were on a ladder. It was our fault, right? And I was parked next door. The neighbor asked me to come over and work on his house. And so I'm up there doing something. He's on the ladder with me. We had two ladders there. And I remember we were on the ladder, and all of a sudden, man, we're like doing something on the door, right? And all of a sudden the door opens. I'm like freaking out. I'm like, what the is going on here? So I mean, I grabbed that disconnect as fast as I could. Boom, man, I pulled that thing. I think we had the springs dumped or the cables were off or something. And door went down. The old boy went out there. He's out there, kind of, yelling at his wife nicely. What are you doing? You're trying to kill us, blah, 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 blah. And I'm sitting there just going, dang, man, that door about came up and we almost, either destroyed the door opener, knocked us off the ladder. And I just think, that trolley, that disconnect being right there versus you trying to run over. I don't even know if those openers have enough power anymore. What are you doing? To even, I don't know. I don't know. I've had it before, even when I've, it's like I kind of feel like sometimes for me, anyways, I'm always looking for the future. I've had it where I've like ran the door down and something goes off, cable flops or something, and the door goes to retract back up, and I'm already in the down motion, which I need because it has a broken spring. And I pulled that disconnect, let it drop that 4-6 inches, because something, or maybe I've done it before. I bumped the photo eye before too and made it reverse. And no lock. No lock. I don't know about the lock. I'm kind of like I'm not a big fan of the lock, honestly. I remember, of course, you know how it is. Like I was coming back from a job from up north, and the secretary called, and she's like, "Can you stop by?" And this guy, we installed this like 2 or 3 years ago. And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just send me the address." So I pull in there. I think I was out doing a detail, so I was just driving like the regular truck. I didn't have like a full blown service truck. Even if I had a full blown service truck, I don't think I'd have one of those slide locks, the mechanical ones on my truck. So I remember I get there and the guy's out there and it's kind of like a man cave ish garage. Well, I get there and he's like, "Yeah, I don't know what happened." He's like, "But so the lock wasn't working anymore, so it never disengaged. The door went up, so now it bent the roller. I know the stem was bent. I remember that. It might have tweaked the hinge, and I'm kind of like, like, like I don't have this stuff. I can't bend a roller like for the life of me. I can't make a roller straight. I mean, it's just, if you had a vise and stuff, I can get it close, but it probably still ain't gonna slide like it's supposed to. I was like, this stinking stupid slide lock, it malfunctioned. It's another item that fails. And somehow this door, bit the bullet and it tore it up. And so I don't know if I ran to a hardware store or something, or I just said we'll come back. But basically, we didn't rehook it. I told him, I said, man, you really don't need this. I said I think they were 10 by 10s. I said the odds of somebody like that would have to be a friend of a friend of a friend, to be like sitting there drinking beer, and you're like, you know, somebody really wanted to steal my Harley, they could lift up on that garage door, but how far do you go? I mean, that's a lot of work, a lot of theft, a lot of like I can just drive through your garage door too. Had that happen. I had a customer do that before. Dun-uh. Oh no. We got elevator. What's up? What's up? How you guys doing? Hey there. Glad you're here. More welcome to asking a question. You got anything contribute? Throw it on in. I charged 19 for the 82O, or I'm sorry, the 98O22. That includes light and lock. I don't know if I just don't know about the locks. And it's like one of those things. It's like people don't even like you put it on there and they kind of like look at it and they're like, "Oh, I bet I could do it." I bet 9 times out of 10, I bet 10 times out of 10, I could do it and not even hook that lock up, and people wouldn't even consider it. Like I've never had one person that was like, "How do you lock this?" Like even like the J arm. You know how like some of you guys, like you want the J arm like pretty much dead straight up and down. I like to have a little kink to it for pushing. You know what I mean? That's just me. But I have never, and I mean never, out of the 18 plus years, never had somebody break in. Besides, the only person I've ever seen do it is me with the coat hanger trick. Get it through the header and get the cable or the rope. But I've never seen somebody break into a garage door. Now I've seen people run into them and smash into them with a vehicle or something and steal stuff content. But I've never like seen a door where somebody's like, "Oh man, they lifted the door up and that's how they got in." I just never see it. You know what I mean? And we live in a pretty harsh area sometimes. Dun, dun. Doo-doo. Is the 8900 not my queue capable? Then Wi-Fi gateway ran through light. I don't know about the lights. Kevin, they are Wi-Fi capable from factory. I think so. I'm kind of glad. Let me throw another log on this puppy. Let me throw a little logger. Kind of had a question about that. Let's see what your guys' opinion are. Our opinion is. So here's my theory. I don't know where this is going to go, but I would like to hear if you guys have anything or if you know anything. So this is what I think. Those openers that are the 1 horsepower commercial ones, they got the little badge on there, right? It says, Wi-Fi capable, built in, whatever. I think I think it's kind of a bad thing. I think that's why you kind of want to maybe have like a power master in your back pocket a little bit, because I think what they're going to eventually start doing is I think they're going to start charging you as a technician. I don't know how, but they're going to start charging you as a technician to work on their stuff, right? Like you're going to have, like, you may have different layers. So like, let me give you an example. Years ago, Digitech is a keypad software. They're mostly aimed towards access control for gate operators. We had a customer up in northern Michigan, and we started working on it. So I looked them up online, right? And this is quite a few years ago. We're just kind of getting the old Google going by that time. And I remember I called them, and then so we'll have somebody call you back, right? And so you kind of do that, like, you wait 30 minutes to, you kind of wait an hour to, hour and 15, hour and 30 minutes. You call them back. You're like, is somebody going to call me? Like, they'll call you. It'll just when they can, right? So, when you're like 2 hours in, you're like, whatever, man, I can't wait here all day. I'm not making no money. So you leave. And of course, right, when you're almost halfway back to the shop or at the shop or at home eating dinner, that's when they call and they're like, hello, this is whoever, blah, 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 your technician. You called, and you're like, yeah, I called like 4 hours ago. And, I'm not there anymore. Oh, well, we're blah, blah, blah. Well, come to find out, there was one guy that serviced 3 states. Michigan was one of them. I don't quite remember the other ones, like Ohio, Indiana, something like that. And he's like, I'm one guy that's, does 3 states. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, can we like schedule a time? Nope, can't schedule time. He's like, basically, we'll call you back within 24 hours. So I finally kind of strong armed this guy. I'm like, is there anything? And he's like, or you can get our subscription and we'll call you back in with like 2 hours or 3 hours. And I'm like, this is the only customer I know that has this software. Like, I don't know anybody else. And he's like, but you got to do, it was like $329 or something for every month. And you had to do a year contract or something. And I'm like, dude, I'm not like signing up for this is, we'll be in the hole, So I'm like, can you just, so I think he narrowed it down for like 3 to 4 hours. He could call me in between. So now I have to be at the location because it's remote, right? There's like they have 5 locations. And so there's the office that has the main computer, does everything. So I got my business partner there. I'm at the facility. I bring 2 cell phones. You know what I mean? So the guy calls and it's like, you're like tumbling the phone. You're like, hello, please don't hang up. Please. I'm here. Cell service, work. Cause most time these places are out in like the boonies sometimes. And this was working on, what was this working off? A telephone line with a modem. That's kind of primitive. And so, I got my other phone working because it was like, they're asking us questions that was like, sometimes it's software, sometimes it's hardware, whatever, And so anyways, we got through it, but they wanted you to pay. And I think this is going to start happening. You're seeing it in the automotive industry, right? BMW, right? If you guys heard in the news, they were making people's heated seats not work unless you paid a subscription. I just heard recently about Toyota did something just recently. Somebody bought a 60,000 SUV and the navigation quit working. And so did the remote start because now you have to pay a subscription. These companies are getting real greedy, and shame on them. So I think we're going to go down that rabbit hole at some point. I think that's what's going to happen. Now, if they want to have this Wi-Fi and they connect to it and make our lives easier, I'm kind of okay for that. I know some companies, we do have some commercial customers that are using the Wi-Fi. They want to see that the doors are closed, and I can kind of see the benefit. But they make me, when stuff is free, you're typically the guinea pig. So that's what I feel like. Can't even make a 3-button work anymore. Where are we at? The LJ 8900W. Oh, it froze on me for a second there. Come on, show it. Happy New Year's Eve. Hey, same to you. Elevators are amazing. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hitting the thumbs up. Hope you have a good new year. I hope this year is great for everybody. Hope we get cheap gas prices. I hope the tariffs aren't crazy. I hope we bring down we bring down the debt. I hope we have some government shutdowns and those greedy boogers don't get paid, which they will. I hope Bill Gates, doesn't keep contaminating our food. I hope a lot of things. Dave says a police officer told me that most break-ins happen through garage man door. Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Rusty, because like I said, people, it's kind of one of those weird things that to me, it's like when people are thieves, like they're normally not really good thieves. You know what I mean? So they really don't like, and I'd be honest with you, like if I was going to break into a garage, I mean, I honestly, the first thing I'm going to not probably do is like lift up on the garage door, because that's just stinking heavy. And like, that's a guillotine and that's like entrapment. And then it's like your fingerprints are all over the darn thing. And there's like smudge marks and everything. Yeah, I'm going to probably just like kick in a man door. I'm going to pop through a window. Because most people don't even understand. They just see a wall. You know what I mean? So like, I've never come across anybody where, I used to be real picky about that, like with your J arm, having it more straight up and down. So if they're really lifting on it, it can't slip. But I've lifted up on them pretty hard too. And I've never seen one start sliding where I was like, I could power through the whole thing easily with the gears, in it. And it would just like keep moving slowly and slowly and then work in my favor. You know what I'm saying? So I'm with you. I think the man doors, that's your weakest point. One or these corrupt. What is that? Elevators are amazing. Otis, one of these corrupt. I don't know what that is. Jets. What's up, Jets? These tried to break into a zero clearance low headroom door I installed. They stuck a demo bar under section. It wasn't zero clearance. They would have gotten in. Ooh, maybe. I think about it like I've had doors that are pretty sloppy, and I'm like, I just pry in from the side. We just actually had it's really sad. I don't know all the details. I just seen it come across the news. We get people around certain areas. It wasn't in the local city, but it was a little bit on the outskirts. There was a female, unfortunately, that passed away. She was trapped in a storage unit. I didn't quite understand it. It was something like the daughter's friend, or that was the daughter. Somebody padlocked her in there. I guess they were letting her stay in there. And some reason they didn't sound like it started in that unit, but it sounded like it started a couple units over. There was a fire that broke out and she died. And I was thinking, man, I was like, normally if you kick pretty hard on those roll-up doors, unless they're installed really tight, you can normally get them to peel, but 110 pound, 120 pound woman's not going to probably know that. So it's just sad that she passed away. I think it was just a couple days ago or a day ago. What is this? Amazing cone or these corrupt? I don't know what this is. I don't know what that is. Rusty's got. We had a job one year when a person drove their car through a 12x12 to get into a stereo shop. Ooh, steal stuff from it. Nuts. It's the only time I've heard of us using overhead door for door to break in. Yeah, like I said, I don't ever. We get a lot of people that just, accidentally the plow guys, and we get, the forklift drivers or something crazy like that, or a semi truck. We've had that before. That was a gnarly one. But very little. I've had one guy, but this guy was a shady dude. They almost like a buddy or something drove into his garage and then stole his motorcycle. But never like petty, never petty stuff. You know what I mean? Like, so like somebody, like the pry bar, just at least for me, not saying it didn't happen. I mean, I believe it. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff out there. I'm sure there's somebody out there that's, cut into them too. Like the fire department, there's all different ways, but I just, that's so noisy versus, You can sit there and pick a lock. Pick a lock and break in the side door or kick it in. Those are easy. Window, you know. Rich B, I really love elevators a lot. Oh, I got it. This is code for some brands. Got it. All right. Elevators, man. Big money, elevators, man. Big money. Rusty had a job. Oh, so that was Tanner. Sorry, Tanner. That was Tanner up there. Time her to use an overhead door. Bam. Checking back. What's up, Evan? Did you wake up from that nap? Rusty, that job I got through Facebook. Someone locally asked who could their safety cables, had to ask a lot of questions, get pictures to realize they weren't extension cables. Those pictures, man. Evan's doing it right, man. That's the way to do it. You got to go slow and steady. Ask for pictures. Make them work for it. Make them work for you. What's up, Anderson Garage Door Service? Happy New Year's Eve. Same to you. Hope it goes good. Hope it's a money grabbing year. Tanner. There's some was douchebag or douche or something douche on YouTube showing videos on pushing on top panels or using one of those squeeze shims to push panel and reach into their hanger and pull them. I haven't seen it in a while. For them doing it. I know what you're talking about though. I've seen people doing it and people kind of get paranoid about it, but I feel like we kind of live in that era now where it's like, if it's getting that kind of sketchy, like, so honestly, really, I think the best thing, like over at the shop, the best thing ever, especially if you're building a shop or redoing a shop, put cameras up, put them up right away. You know what I mean? So that way, when for the secretary's sake, for your wife's sake, for your friends, for everything, put them up. That way, if you got new employees that come in, because when I was doing it out of the house, I put up cameras, and I tell you what, there was a lot of like resentment. Wait, what are those for? And it's like, they're for safety, because the problem was I had a secretary working there, and we would get random people that would just come in. They were customers and I just thought, all it's gonna take is one time somebody comes in here and throws something, or she gets hurt, or and it's gonna be so much easier to explain to the police or what really happened. No, she threw the drink first, because she was a biker chick, man. She was rough and tough. But it just, theft, just all kinds of things. And so, knock on wood, we, that was the first thing when the shop got power and stuff. It was like cameras, camera in the office, camera in the warehouse, camera on the outside. And I know a company down the road was getting plows. They were literally picking up plows and putting them in their trucks, getting stolen off their property. They put up cameras that pretty much eliminated 99.8% of theft, that they ever had. So people pay attention, especially they see those things glowing or the lights on, or, oh man, there's a camera right there, so those are good deterrent. You put up the rings, and then what? Now LiftMaster's got the new keypad, whatever. I don't know how I feel about that, but whatever. Release string and opener to open the garage door. Yeah. Yeah, it's right. That's right. Rusty's guy. He says, hi. He says, don't tell the secrets. I did it for a lady one time. I didn't know if she was going to quite understand. She was a little bit, she just, one of those, she was just not there. And she's like, can you get my garage door? And I'm like, if you don't got the key to the man door, and the man door was boarded up or something, it was a rough area. I didn't want her to accuse me because I didn't know how I was going to go. Because you know how it is, like when customers are there, like it's a lot easier to like do your job almost when the customer's not there watching you, because you might start swinging a hammer, banging on the track, doing something. They think it's violent. They're like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? I spent a lot of money. And you're like, it needs to be done. Well, I knew I could push on the top panel. So I had my ladder kind of ready. So she went in the house for something for a second, and that was my opportunity. Man, I bounced. I was like, boom, I opened up. I pushed that thing right. I got up there. I got it released, get the door, and she comes out. She's like, how'd you get it open? She's like, do you got a key? And I'm like, nope. She's like, do you got a remote? That's what they always think for some reason. Sometimes I've gotten tons of calls on that. People always think I like, do you got a remote to get in? No, like I don't just have a remote that's a master remote that gets in everywhere. I've heard of people doing it in a sense, but I don't. And so, but I got in there at least. And that's when I found out she was the one that didn't have any power in her garage. And it's because her basement was like 2 to 3 feet of sewage in the basement. And she asked if I wanted to go down there and take a look. And I said, no, and because that's where her fuse panel was and her son was coming. And it's like one of those things she really needs to go to. She needs help, like she needs more help than I can give. So I got your door open. You can get your car out, but I didn't want her to see me. No charge. That was a no charge. There was no transaction. Please don't. There was no warranty, no nothing. And of course, the son called, was talking to me about something, and all I'm thinking in my head is I'm going, yep. I'm like, there was no charge. There's no warranty. There's no I don't know. You don't even know who I am. I don't know how you got this number. And he was like something, and I'm like, yeah, and he was decent, but I said, it sounds like you need to get an electrician, over there, and we'll kind of go from there. Like there's other problems going on when you got a couple feet of sewage in your basement and your poor mom's living there. Not good. Tanner's guy says I put in 424 by 18s. Dang, 2 on each side of the building. Like a pull through a few years ago. And the farmer called me a few days later. The farm had put visors up when he had was pulling out and ripped out. Man, brand new 24 by 18 door with the seed tender. Oh man. Nothing like rework on some old, brand new stuff, man. Oof. Not good. Ripping it up, man. Tearing it up. Why you got to tear it up like that? Ring cameras are great. Or if you're paranoid, put was a zip tie through the trolley. Oh yeah, trolley assembly. That's a good idea. I've kind of gotten on board a little bit. Now, do I practice it? No. But I ended up I kind of believe more into the wall buttons where you can push and hold and lock out the transmitters, because I'm a little bit nervous. I'm really nervous nowadays about these LEDs, the curly Q light bulbs, fluorescent lights, emitting a signal. And especially if you're going like on vacation, like I tell a lot of people, I'm like, you're going on vacation. I'm like, just unplug the opener, just unplug it. You know what I mean? Because sometimes they get that weird, like they're like, well, and I go, if you're going to use the slide lock, I'm like, then definitely unplug your opener, because I said, the last thing you want to do is you come home from vacation, you go to hit that and boom, you wreck the door. The slide lock was engaged. The opener fires up. Just unplug the opener, put a slide lock through it. If you want to be extra, put a padlock on it. But boy, could you imagine like going on vacation or something and come home and your door's been open for 3 days or something? Oh. We've had some builders, Anderson garage doors. Builders put up trail cameras around the house or shop while we're building. Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm wondering if Anderson on that, if you got a brand, if there's a certain brand, because there was a company that was advertising pretty heavily. I thought it was kind of like an orange color. Put us on your job site, put us inside for theft and that. And honestly, I thought about buying some at one time too, because you just get those weird jobs, man. That's like, I don't like where my material's sitting. I got $10,000+ sitting here or whatever. And you're just like, oh man, I don't feel real comfortable about this, that somebody's not going to screw with it. And then I was almost at one time, I don't think they would probably work that good because they're inside a closed cabinet. I've always been looking for something that goes inside a gate operator, because sometimes you get a weird ghost in them and then they mess with it all the time, right? That, and it's like I want to be able to see, recording of it, like what signals was the circuit board doing? What was on there to display error code. I've even wanted it for garage door openers, like commercial ones sometimes, like have one sitting on like a beam facing it where I just open the cover if it's not a high dust area or anything like that, and just sit there and watch it, because it seems like it would happen every day or every 2 or 3 days, but I can never get it to do it when I'm there. So I've always been looking for something that seems pretty bulletproof, that records good. But yeah, the builders, I'm sure a lot of theft. Elevators, amazing. Let's hope 2025 will be a great year. I'm happy we made it through 24. It went by so fast. High five. Yeah, man, it was crazy how fast. It's the older you get to, the faster it goes. That's why I got to really sometimes stop and smell the roses. I don't know. I mean, my prediction for this year is I think it's going to kind of trug along. I don't know. There's part of me that says they could just kind of, like, whoever's kind of in control, the Dems or something, they could just drop it on Mr. T and go, here you go. Have fun with it. I like what Mr. Papatoni said. I like the fact that he said something about, this is his legacy year, or I'm sorry, years or run. So he's going to do everything he can. But what I am mostly concerned about is inflation on you and on me and everybody, because I just don't see prices going down. You know what I mean? To anything, maybe gas, but you know how it is. That stuff doesn't seem like it translates fast enough into anything else, because it doesn't stay there that long. It kind of bounces around. So, in my mind, I keep going, this year is going to be like the year that some of the big boys are going to maybe start building, maybe with the tariffs and stuff. They're going to reinvest into America. We'll see maybe some warehouses in that get revamped to some degree. But this year might just kind of trug along, and then maybe the second year in, things might be a little more booming. Maybe I don't know. Hey man, we just either way, you just got to keep going. You just keep going. It's one of those things you always got to kind of remember, that you and myself, we all make our own destiny. We wake up early, we work late, we go out there with a positive attitude. We try to make sure we understand how the game is played, so we can keep money in our pockets, do stuff the legal way. But I'm game. I'm ready to get through winter. I'm ready for spring already. Rich, he says, you send them wild gooses chases to get them away and do the work. You send them on wild goose chases to get them away and do the work. What's up, Sky? Happy New Year's, everyone. Rocking it. Love it. I love it. That's right. Sky, you working Thursday, Friday, or you kind of just taking naps or whatever comes in? What you got? You working? Woohoo. Love it. Dun, dun, dun. Anyways, I'm going to hop off. Thanks for being here. Elevators are amazing. Hop off. I'll be back maybe in a bit. See ya. Hey, thanks for being here. Thanks for asking the questions and all that stuff. It's all good times, all that good stuff. See what's on this thing here for a second. See if anybody's got anything. You guys are more welcome. Like I said, we're just here. We're just hanging out. What time is it? Oh, he probably hopped off. Elevators are amazing. Where are you from? Yeah, maybe if he hops back on, he'll let us know. Maybe a city, a state, country. Of course, what do we at here? Okay, I just want to make sure because as I say, we might be at that time where I might freeze up. It could happen any moment. You never know with this software. Rich B. Scott, where are you from? I forget. Rich, are you rocking you got the minivan, right? What do you got? Is it the Chrysler? Cheers, everyone. Rocket, thanks. All right, Sky. He even got food on there. He shows me a big old carrot. He sent me a picture of a carrot today. It was awesome. It's huge. Tanner. Oh man, Tanner, you working tomorrow? Dang, man. I wish we were closer. I'd come help you. Didn't get to a few service calls today. We got two 14 by 14 doors torn out and new installed with opener. Was a good day. Nice. Yeah, I was kind of debating. I think, like I said, the guys are doing at least tentatively, they're going up to one that's up north. It's like I think it's Ludington, Michigan. And there's 3 doors I got to get done. They're not real big doors. They're typically getting 2 doors with what they're doing because they can't tear one out and leave it because there's personal items in there just to get theft or whatever or elements. So I thought about, but I really need some time for Friday. We're doing those bigger ones, and I got to get some wood. I think I'm gonna go with what's your guys' opinion? You guys all against the whole treated wood? You know what I mean? With your legs and stuff like that. You know, I did take it out one time, and my leg was like it was all chewed up. I was like, oh my gosh, it's true. Like, because somebody told me, I think it was a builder. He's like, "You using treated?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I'm using treated." I like treated because it doesn't split. You know, it's real mushy. You know, it's like it's gooey, and so I don't have to like pre-drill anything. So I was debating about using I guess what it is, there's an operator pad. It's mounted to block. I hate dealing with block. So I'd rather just mount a bigger pad and mount to wood. That way if I got to make any adjustments, it's easy just to screw into the wood. Um but I'm like, I'd rather use treated. But obviously I don't want it to eat my screws, you know. And I don't know if it's more of like a ground contact number 2 or if you just get the regular, it's not so bad on them, but I do remember there was a time. It doesn't seem like always. I yanked that screw out on that treat, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" It was like a, you know, normally the size of a permanent marker. It was the size of like a pencil. You know, I was like, "Whoa!" So I'm kind of debating what I'm going to get, but I know I got to get anchors, all that kind of stuff. I got to get some stuff around it. I got to go through my list in my head of what to make sure I got. Yes, Chrysler Town and Country. I bet that ride is nice. It's a nice ride. Do you ever put a rack on it, Rich? I'm just curious. Like a rack or anything on top to haul stuff? Just did roller out, and she should be buying a set of tracks soon. The vertical track was not retaining the rollers. Interesting. So Rich he says, how about 3/4 inch plywood? So here's the thing, what I've noticed, right? When my legs, they're about the perfect size. You got to do like I normally like dealing with like 2x6. 2x6 is normally a pretty good size. So the 2x6 seems like it's about the right thickness for those legs to not, you know, screw into the uh, you know, the backside, the concrete. Now could I take 3/4 and probably double it up? Yeah, but for some reason, like I'm thinking, like in my head, I'm thinking like OSB. I mean, I guess I could use a plywood that's not OSB. And double it up. Then I could make one big nice pad, right? And then I'll have to use like 2 pieces. It's not a bad idea. I think it normally comes down to like kind of like laziness, right? Like, you know, and then a sheet of plywood. Man, we're small. We got a small vehicle, man. I guess I could always pre-cut them to some degree. Hmm, maybe, maybe. Do. Tanner says I don't use treated. I just grab vapor tape and put on the bottom. Okay. Or you can get spray and do like 6 inches up. But I use my door tape to pre-screw for my legs. Um, or if it's old wood, I pre-drill. That's interesting. If you ever come across that, Tanner, send me some pictures. Like if you ever do one or that tape. I'm just kind of curious of how you're wrapping it. Are they sticking it under the board and then going up so it doesn't wick up the board, or because I've seen some builders, they'll go like, I don't know, maybe a foot or two, off the ground. And I'm always like, I agree with that. You know what I mean? If it's somewhere, they typically are, if they're doing that already, they're good about keeping it a little bit off the ground. But I've had some jobs, like I've had a fur out, and I was like, I'm just gonna go treat it. It's better. You know what I mean? And then um, like I said, if you get in those weird spots where you got like, you're on the edge of the board and you're screwing, I'm like, I ain't pre-drilling that. I'm like, just, you watch like the fluid, the gush out, because it doesn't split. It's just all mushy in a sense, not bad mush, but you know what I'm saying? So, but that one job, when I heard somebody say, you shouldn't use, they were like, you shouldn't use treated. And I pulled that screw out and I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, the screw is like, you probably get another 3 to 5 years and it would snap off. It was so bad. And I was like, well, maybe I shouldn't be using that for a spring pad and, up the rest of the, cause I did it all the way from the floor up. I was like, I ain't gonna do no half chop crap. I was like, it's just, you got it all treated now. You're good. I even asked a roofer on one of the rentals. I was like, because I was, I don't know why. It was weird. I was at the store and I needed some 1x6, but then of course I needed 1x8. Didn't know that. I grabbed some, so they had some there because I just know how contractors are. They probably don't have that. They got sheets of something, but not the stuff. So, and I didn't want them to cut corners. So I'm looking at it and it's the same price, or it was a hair cheaper for the treated. And I'm thinking, I'm like, the treated's nice to shoot through. Like it's not going to split when you're hitting your 2x4s and stuff, 2x6. And then I started thinking about it and I thought, I don't want to do that because they're going to tell me, oh no, you can't do that, or your galvanized nails will rust, or whatever, blah, blah. We can't do that. And I'm gonna have to make another trip. So I was like, I'll just get standard wood. Well, I go over there and I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, this stuff's like $1 more. I'm like, what the heck? Anywho, so I bought the standard stuff, but it was still wrong. I bought 1x6. I need 1x8. So I had to run back anyways. But I mentioned this to a guy and he didn't seem like he even cared. He might not know. I was like, do you guys? And he's just like, treated's better. And I'm like, he didn't speak real good English. But takes longer, but it stops. Kicking yourself from splitting or snapping legs. Interesting. Has a leg rack. Oh, luggage rack. Okay. I put 16-foot struts on it, but doors I get delivered. Oh, Rich, you should tell me a little more about this. Who do you get them? Who do you get them delivered by? You doing the box stores? And which ones? Which ones? Like, give me any more details on the delivery. Like, who's delivering them and all that. I'm curious. Makes me think about those young bucks or myself. Like, think outside the box. Da-da, da-da. And then what do you do with the old stuff? Customer's responsibility. Cut it up. Put it out by the road. Yep, from bottom of board. Up 6 to 12 inches works great. My brother builds custom homes, and that's what he did. So I just took his idea. Yeah. I'm just kind of curious, like that tape you're talking about. Like, so if you ever do one, just take a little video or take some pictures. Um, I'm kind of interested because, like, are you like wrapping around the back? Are you just doing the edge too, or like the weather seal, which um, is it pretty gooey, pretty sticky? Oh, we got, what is this? That zip tape works good. Also, is that? I feel like that's what the store has. Maybe Lowe's. I don't know. I think they're. I thought that stuff. I think it's kind of pricey. It's probably good stuff, but it's probably kind of pricey. Let me see if I can find that picture. This is the stuff that you're using too, I think, Tanner. Let's see if we can find Mr. T on here. I was going to send this to you. I was at the old Lowe's and I thought, oh, and I don't know if I don't know if this company makes different ones. I was like, isn't this the Impact? I think the Flex might be a good idea too on those impacts you're talking about. Let me see. There you go. Done. There you go, Tanner. Let me know if that's the impact they're using. Works good. Also, it is, but it goes a long way. Steel rope from my brother. Here and there. Yeah, yeah. Well, I was just talking to my roofer buddy. He was talking about some he had to do something for some metal work on one of the rentals and stuff. And he was talking to me about like it's getting pulled, whatever it is, like thing. And he said butymol tape or something. He goes, oh, that stuff really sticky, whatever. He said, but it's like $230 a roll for how many feet I forget. And I told him, I said, just put some Flex Seal on it. And he goes, that stuff's crap. He goes, you're better off with Gorilla Tape. And I said, oh, that works too. It's just temporary. But I like learning all those little things, those little secrets, good products and stuff like that. But like that too, Tanner, I'd like to kind of see that. I'd like to see what you're doing on that or how that works. Cause I'm game if it's something you got to carry. I was just hoping maybe some of you guys were going to be like, absolutely. You know what I mean? Like if you use, now my theory is, you guys know how it is. Like when you go to the store, and you're getting treated wood and you pick up that one and it's like twice as heavy. You like pick up like, holy crap, this one's saturated with chemicals, which I don't know if it's good or bad, but that's what it was like when I pulled that screw out. That board was pretty still wet over the years. And I thought, well, maybe if you didn't do ground, the number 2 ground treated, whatever, it can have ground contact. Maybe it wouldn't be so harsh on those galvanized screws. But I always liked having treated wood, you know what I mean? For like spring pads and that, they don't have to pre-drill them, being lazy, you know what I mean? Cause you know how it is. Like sometimes you go to pre-drill a piece of board, right? And then you go to put your leg in it and you're like, yeah, I probably shouldn't use such a big screw. You know what I mean? Like I wish it was biting a little harder. It's going to work, but I wish it was biting a little harder, Goes a long way. What is this one? It was a Shane brand, Dave. He says, but not same impact. Okay. That's just a standard impact, not the triple hammer. Okay. Okay. I figured it was it'd be a cheaper model. Because I don't know if that company does that whole kind of like what DeWalt did, where they, if you get an 18 volt or whatever it is, or a 20 volt drill, it's not the same across the board. They got a cheaper version. I was watching that video though, and they were talking about once you get hooked on the batteries, which I totally agree. Once you get hooked on the batteries, you're kind of like, they know they got you, because you're going to buy their products across. But like I said, I the Milwaukee's have been working, but boy, they've been struggling in the cold lately, and they've been having just some kind of weird glitches. And my tools don't get used as hard as they used to. And I don't know. I don't know. You know. Dun, 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 dun. Take a video. Not sure when I'll have to do it again. He says, but I'll try to remember. No, I said, like I said, or take a picture, even just a couple pictures, and whatever. You know, it's no rush. I'm not no dire for it. Um, I don't even do. I normally don't do a lot of the frames and stuff myself. It's just any ideas on how to protect it is fine. I gotta get this thing away from this, whatever you call it, baby cat things. Oh, chewing on crap. Let's go down here. What's this one? Click on this. No, my distributor, 75. The old doors make them small enough so they can dispose of it. Or I have some numbers of scrappers. $75. Hey, so Rich, who's that? Is it what is it? Is it DoorLink? Are they ones that'll deliver them for you? Or who do you have drop them off? Who's dropping them off, man? Who's dropping them? That's nice. That is nice. It's kind of weird because I was doing that for a little bit. I had subcontractors working for me, and so these guys would typically, they worked a normal job, so they have like an SUV or maybe a car or whatever, and they that was always like they're like, well, I don't have a way to like get the stuff there, so I was it kind of worked out good. So I would like, I'd go to the job, I'd drop the stuff off, and it was already there for them. So they just show up. And then most time I cleaned up the stuff, so I just have them throw it out. And they just had to show up with their hand tools and stuff. They already had the knowledge. And I'm surprised we don't see more. Like, I don't even know how exactly. I was just thinking about it. I just started thinking about it today. And I thought, why is it? I'm sure over by anybody, and all you guys probably have the same thing. And I thought, why don't we see that more in like the garage doors? Like, what's the blowback on it? But like in the roofing game, right? We got so many roofers around here that they typically the salesman slash installer kind of guy, right, does like the repairs and does the sales, and but they always bring in like the Mexican group. You know what I mean? The workers, and those workers bounce around from other roofing companies. It's not maybe just dedicated to one. They work as subs, and I'm always like, why isn't that kind of like in the garage door business? Like, why is it that we don't see more of like we're the salespeople, all of us, because pretty much everyone here is a business owner, and like we could call and be like, hey Johnny, I got a door, I could do it next week, and okay, you know what I mean, and like they like I don't see why we don't. Is it just not big enough volume, not enough money? Is it? I'd like to hear your opinion. Do 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 do. Rich, it's the chemicals from treated process that eats the metal screws. Yeah. See, I thought it was kind of protected with the galvanized, but it'll eat the galvanized. That's for sure. So I think that's why you shouldn't use it. Because when somebody told me, I was just like, well, I've been doing it for years, and then I don't know if I just haven't came back to one, and I had to go back to one, I had to adjust the track or something. I pulled that screw out, and I was like, oh, I was like, that one's not going back in. I got to get a new one. And I was like, who's the idiot that put treated all the way up? And I'm like, that was me. It's like I was just trying to be a good doobie. Do. Maybe I'll just do it on scrap piece. But yes, he says leave a lot of that to the builders these days. Oh yeah, they got the stuff, man. Those builders, they got the big money, the big trucks, all the big contracts. Door distributors. They have a box truck. Don't need to worry about damage. Nice. That's pretty awesome that they do that. I would assume we used to have when Amar was dropping stuff off to us. They did a truck and a trailer. I don't know what size. It was enclosed. It was an enclosed trailer, but because they were used to drive a box truck around, pretty good size one, and then they went to a truck and trailer, but they were doing all the Lowe's installs, and so they're dropping these stuff off to like people's houses. You know what I mean? And I kept thinking like, I wonder if I could just kind of like schnooker them, not be like, can you guys like we ordered this? Can you're going past there at some point through the week or whatever? Can you drop one off at this location? Um, I haven't dug real deep, but most of our vendors will not do that. Like I know Wayne Dalton won't. I know Safeway would not do that. I think the only one you might have a fighting chance with is maybe Amar, or you'd have to use like I'm pretty sure if they bought it through. So I don't even know what they charge at like the Home Depot or Menards or Lowe's. I don't know what they charge, but that was something too, just to go through the box store. But that's always, man, that's risky, especially when it's those box stores because they're rough, man. They're rough sometimes on material, so that can always be a problem too. You know what I mean? They you get there now, it's got damage on it. Now it's that sucks because lost production, whatever. You know what I mean? But that is something to think about. It is something to think about. It's kind of like something to think about, like I said, with those roofers. And why we just don't have like, I'm just surprised there isn't more like somebody that goes around and goes, hey, I'm a sub and I go from door company to door company. I just drive a white truck and I can install for you these days of the week or this. I don't know. It's just something that's kind of weird to me that you see it with the roofers all the time. Like, I mean, like all the roofers, pretty much, unless they're doing like commercial and they're doing flat roofs, like big commercial, like they got their own crews, um, to some degree, and not to say they don't sub some of that too a little bit, but with all the residential ones that we have, they're all like it's normally like one or two or three guys that maybe are like the main guys, but then the rest is like they always have a group of people, hardworking people come in and wipe it out, and I'm always like, I'm surprised we just don't see that more often. Even in I guess HVAC. HVAC is a little more money. HVAC I look at and I go, most time they're always driving their own vehicles and stuff like that. I can see, like, I can understand that's a little more tuned, you know. But garage doors, I go, man, I should be able to whip those out and just do whatever they got to do. What'd you send me, Rich? What'd you send me? Throw some questions up if you guys got them. I'm gonna throw another log on the fire, or a stick, or a twig, whatever you call it. Gotta keep warm in this place, Fuel is not cheap. Where are we at? Where are we at? Got some time on here. Maybe doors, but dropping them off, it can be a little bit, a guy got me one time, though. I ain't gonna lie. It was one of those evenings. I forget what was going on, right? We had something at the park for the kids for school. And I think it was a little bit towards the winter time. And I had a guy going out. He's worked for me before, but he's got a full-time job, right? And so I called him up. I said, hey man, I said, you want to do this install? And he's like, I can, but I don't have a truck. I'm like, not a problem. I was like, I'll drop the stuff off. And I don't know how this happened. I mean, I clearly told him, I said, hey man, I said, when you're, pulling the stuff out, I said, just put it off on the side somewhere. And he left me kind of high and dry. You know what I mean? So he pulled the stuff out. I'm just getting ready to leave. And he calls me, he says something, hey, I'm all done. I said, okay, we'll just, go over it with the customer. And anyways, he leaves. Well, then the customer calls me and the lady's like, got a little bit of a problem. I'm like, yeah. And she lived in a decent area. It wasn't a very high, I know the area pretty well. And she's like, The guy left the door in the middle of the garage. I'm like, oh my gosh, are you serious? Like, she has a pretty big driveway, so he could have put it on um, the concrete or whatever, the asphalt next to it, or he could have put it on the yard. The yard was pretty nice. I'd probably wouldn't really recommend that, but he just left it in the middle of the garage, and I don't think he must have communicated with her. So now I'm like, oh, I'm like, okay. I'm like, we're literally getting ready to leave to go to a family, event. And so luckily I had to pull my stepdad, and I had to grab a trailer real quick. We had to run over there and pick it up. He did a nice install, but I was like, are you kidding me, dude? Why'd you leave the door? Cause she was like, I really want to park my car inside, and I'm like, the whole, how it is. My car getting broken into, and you live in a pretty nice area. I don't think you have to worry about that, but yeah, I get it. And of course, that's what happens too, right? It was on a weekend, and that's when he had off. So, uh, hey, I see some people jumping in. What's up? What's up? What's up? Rusty says, if a customer's paying with a credit card, do you guys charge a card fee? Ooh, ours is 4%. Ooh, I think it's kind of built in. We don't really push it. I think it's just kind of part of it, from what I understand. But I just had one too. The furnace people, had to hire them, and they were, the same thing. I said, I know how it goes in business. I just always ask, you probably want to check, and they were like, yeah, otherwise there's a fee, and I'm like, I get it. Like, we'll just cut you a check. But some people do. I mean, I don't think it's bad, but it's not pushed in there to do it. We try to recommend it, but the price is the price. What's up, hey brother? Just fixed my own garage door. It was a Wayne Dalton door with the Torque Master spring setup. Had to come out, and he said that his company doesn't do Wayne Dalton. Oh, that's pretty common. That's pretty common. A lot of people don't do the Wayne Dalton, especially when it comes to the Torque Master and all that kind of stuff. They just don't want to touch them. I don't know why. I don't know why they'd run. You know what I mean? That's cool. That's cool. I wonder, did you change the whole setup? The drums and everything, or did you just change the inside springs on that Torque Master? Is it running good? Hopefully, it's running good. We started using a company called Pro Door System for all our sectional doors. Does pretty good with packaging. Anderson, huh? Where are you working out of? Anderson Garage Door Service. Where are you located? What state? That's pretty nice. That's pretty nice that you got the packaging is important. Very important. So I researched my door and spring. Did that shit myself. He says wasn't hard. He also installed a Genie, but I upgraded one I had from prior. I like that kind of work. Sweet. No, that's awesome, man. That's great that you did it yourself. I mean, that's pretty amazing, honestly. You want a job? I'm kind of handy though. Been a welder fabricator, so no, yeah, that helps. Isn't it nice having that kind of stuff? I mean, I love that I can understand, like how wells and pumps and heat pumps and AC. I'd actually like to. I was kind of thinking. I was thinking. I kind of want to go to like an AC, just some like seminars or something. You know what I mean? To just understanding more of them, because I had a grandparent. Theirs was malfunctioning. I thought darn sure it was a circuit board, and the guy came in, and it was I forget what it was. It was like the ignition something lighter sensor, and he just reset it, and he's like, "That's it." He's like, "It just popped." And I'm like, "That's it." I'm like, I was gonna put a circuit board in this thing. They HVAC depends on residential or commercial resident resi. We had all supplies delivered to the shop. Okay, commercial was always too big and was brought to the work site in semis. Interesting. Kind of makes sense. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, did the whole setup, drums, and all the cables. Sweet, sweet. Did it? Some of those there's like an older Torque Master, and then there's like another like an upgraded Torque Master. I don't know, I forget what they call them, like Torque Master 1. There's a Torque Master 2 or Plus. I wonder if you had to upgrade. Normally we get some old ones. They had the old screw dial. Like it used to be when you turn it, the dial would turn, and you'd see the numbers on it. And then now the new system's got the ratchet. Use the is it 5/8 wrench, clicky click, 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 click. Not too bad. It's not too bad. Do you mail or email your customers a bill after the job? Or do you use an app or website that generates the invoice? So we use Jobber. Jobber works really good. I'd love to get my hands on Service Titan, but they won't give us a free like test. I'd like to try it for a week, just play around with it, but they won't do that. And it seems like they want you to sign up, and I forget, it's like they want you to sign up for longer, where Jobber was just per month. And I like that because it's almost like people believe in their product, and it's like, hey, if you don't like us, you can leave us, and you only got a month. And it just seems like it always gotten better and better and better. We can put our, it's emailed to the customer. You can pictures on there, all your notes are on there. You can put your time on there. It's pretty nice, and it's always like they're improving. You know what I mean? And it's almost like using Google. It's very user friendly. That's what I like about it. Oh, got the Southeast, man. Oh, I clicked off it. Try again. We're located in Southeast Ohio. Nice. What's the economy like? What's the economy like over there? Is it like booming? Is it kind of like okay? Got any boarded up houses? We got some. Rusty says, Anderson, I leave a copy. Work is finished for residential. I send in mail for commercial. I really like the paper form with residential. You can have them like sign on your phone and stuff like that, but there's just always something about like when you get a check or they pay or whatever, I really like I don't know. It's in my mind. I'm still old school. So I still like handing them a paper form. You know what I mean? I've had somewhere I just write them up even still, and then like I'll initial it and give it to them, and then I'll be like, secretary is going to send you a confirmation in the mail, and but here's my like paper copy. I don't know. It just feels always. It's kind of like when you go to the grocery store or anything, right, or the box stores. You give them money. What do? They give you a receipt. Do you want it emailed or do you want a paper form? I just still like handing them something, even though it's not our normal protocol. But I don't know. It just feels right. You know what I mean? Okay, that's it. Yep. Torque Master Plus. Yep. I believe got the new one. Yeah, they only sell the one anymore. They don't sell the old one as far as I know. Luckily, those brackets were still there, right? Those little U shapes that it cradles down into. The big thing is you obviously don't ever take those cables out of those drums. So they're not bad once you get the hang of it. How do I normally do it? I normally get them up there. Sometimes I'll crank it just a few turns just to get it to tension up a little bit. Normally I take a pair of vice grips, I clamp it. I get it where my screws, I can see my screws. I take the cables and I get them pulled on both sides. Normally I use a pair of vice grips, get them really tight. And I set that screw down, and then I'll cut the whip, off a little bit, do both sides, and I'll go to one side. If they ever feel like they're binding up on you, because I don't know, I'm scared. I've had some blow up on me before. So what I do is sometimes when they feel like they're getting real tight, I've lifted up the door a little bit, quarter of the way, half the way, and I'll put a few more cranks on it. Keep going side to side, try to be evenly, depending on how big the door is. And go from there, because one side's like a dummy. They changed something though, because that last one I did, the dummy side was really dummy. And so it was different. I was like, what am I doing with this? Ta-da. Okay, so economy is in the middle. Gotcha. I was just curious because sometimes it's like places are booming, booming good enough to get a hotel and make $5,000 a day. Just joking. Rich B, I'm old school to use the same ones Tony uses. Yeah, There's nothing wrong with it, you know. The only thing we ever ran into, we started off with, where it all started for us is it all started out with the accountant, right? Because we started out back in the day. We started out with QuickBooks Online, and you had to. I remember literally going to. We had a place around here. It's kind of like it's Myers, but it's like Walmart, and you'd literally buy the CD. You know what I mean? So that's where I started. We had to buy the CD, download it to a computer, and you could only use it for like a year. You know what I mean? Then that one would be up. You had to renew it or whatever. So you had to go buy another CD to renew it or get the next version. But the problem we ran into is that when we had to work with our accountant, it got very cumbersome. You had to like download it. You'd have to put it on a disc, and then So then they started kind of coming out with that online. And then once we started doing online, it was like this is like a no brainer. Like we can send stuff back and forth to the accountant. They can see stuff. They can adjust things. They can tell us what needs to happen here. So that was kind of where that all manifested from. And then what happened is when we started working with, like there was just things like if I was working from home or if I went on vacation, I couldn't see things. And then we started doing more online based stuff. And then with the secretaries being remote, um, everything needs to be like on a cloud for us. So that's our phone systems on a cloud basically. So for me, like I can go anywhere in the country and I can get into our phones. I can hear recordings. I can see how many phone calls. I can see all these things. I can go into Jobber from anywhere. And as long as I got a computer access, I can see the jobs. I can see what was quoted. I can see pictures and notes and everything. Um, so everything is like cloud based for us. So that works out really good. So everybody has access to it, accountant to secretaries to workers to salespeople. Everybody's, you just jump on and log in and you're there, baby. But like I said, if you're pretty much, if you're small and you're just kind of doing doing it, then paper route, man, it works. You know what I mean? It works just fine. It won't click. Let's see if I can do this one. Good idea, Rusty. Oh, she's being glitchy. Let's see here. It's popping up now. I know I have some customers that don't want one, but still leave or mail one. Yeah, yeah. I'm always like you're getting something. You know what I mean? Because and I think that's kind of why it's a little bit nicer. Because like to be honest with you guys, to even think about mailing one is not my cup of tea. You know what I mean? Like that's way too much time for me. So ours is everything is email, and it just all gets handled. It'll send reminders out to them too for certain things that there hasn't been paid yet. For certain customers, it does it automatically behind the scene. Um, for some of our commercial and stuff like that. But I don't remember that much, probably because the secretary did that in house more of the mailing. But um, it's almost like what I found out in the business sometimes is like I don't know. It's weird. Customers, if they don't get something, if you get that weird customer, I'm almost like sometimes I'm like, just send them everything. I'm like, send an email, send them text, send it in the darn mail. You know what I mean? Like I do not want a phone call of this customer or something. I never got my thing, or whatever, because that's happened. Some people are just weird. Stuff doesn't work that way. Understand how many employees do you have in your business? Well, what's this guy? Rich says QuickBooks. I use new balance files. New balance file. Is that what is that? It's like a joke or something. I don't even know what that is. I don't know what that is. Da, da, da. Anders says it's just me as the boss and a couple others, not very big. That's all right. That's all right, man. Sometimes, you know what Uncle Dave says. Keep it small, keep it all. That's kind of nice. There's nothing wrong with being small. I'd rather people go slow and steady instead of going like, I went big way too fast, and you got like 7 guys under you and you got trucks. And I mean, you're just talk about like no sleep. You know what I mean? Good learning experience, but sometimes, your health is more important. You gotta slow down. 5 mile famous, SOS. 5 mile famous. That is good advice. I can't do 5 mile famous. I would love to, but every time I hear distance, um, I get the shivers. That's how I look at it. I get the shivers because I know there is going to be problems. And then, like for us up here in the old Michigan, the weather changes on a dime all the time on us. So you're always dealing with that stuff. You think, oh, we're good. We've had a whole week of nice weather. We'll get it done next week. Next week comes, you got it in the books, you got it on the schedule, and it's like, are you freaking kidding me? It's going to be a blizzard out. Now, what do you do? Doo-doo. What do you got on here? What do you got there, Rich? Yes, young bull and old bull. Yes, yes. It is crazy how it works. It is crazy. It just all depends on kind of what you want to do. Like I said, it worked out good. We got some we got some amazing secretaries, and they're kind of a farther away, and so it works out better for them just to basically work from home, and they can see, unless sometimes their internet goes down. That's a little bit of a problem, but for the most part, it works out really good because everybody can see everything. I'm always definitely pushing for people to take pictures and put it in the system, which is really good because then everybody can see it and see where they're at before and after, and just anything that looks funny, just so everybody's on board. If somebody's in the office dispatching, everybody's on board. So that seems like it's helped, but it costs money. You know what I mean? And so the paper form stuff is really cheap and it works out just fine. And I can't say, oh, the customers use me more because of this or that. It's just when it comes to customers, they just typically want their stuff fixed. Just fix it. How cheap can you do? How fast can you do it? That's what it always seems like to me. How fast can you get here and how fast can you do it? Those broken springs. What is it? Maybe we'll see how it goes. Like I said, we'll come up with some stuff. Dun, 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 dun. You guys got any questions? Throw them up there. Job files. Rusty. Let's see here. This is Rich. Do you put pictures in your job files? Yes, that is what we can actually do. I don't know how long the videos can go, but we can do videos and we can put pictures. We can put time on there. We can see the salesperson on it. We can see. I don't know if they do phone recordings to it. I don't think so. I think that's on a different. But we can. It's really nice because like what was it? There was one yesterday, was it? I was talking to a guy. He came over to the shop, and I guess we installed the door, but he bought the door through Menards. So I was a little bit confused, and he was still in the system, right? And that was whatever, 3 years ago, 5 years ago. So we could go into a system, we could see who installed it. So we seen that, seen the price of everything, and it had pictures of the install. And then I think there's somebody going out Monday to look at it. I don't really know. It's a wood grain looking door. I'm like, as far as I'm concerned, I'm like, If it was a Menards door, just go back with another Menards door, and we just charge labor to install it, and that way he can just deal with Menards. I don't know what happened originally. My guess is what originally happened is he probably purchased it, then decided he didn't want to do it, and came down to us because it's just down the road a ways on the main drag of Apple. And so why don't we just kind of do the same thing? If he's happy with the color, the problem was he hit it. He hit the door. He admitted to it. So it's just nice to have that in one spot. You know what I mean? You could look that up on your phone. The secretary can look up at it, and that's 2 hours away. It's just nice that everybody, you could send them old invoices. It's a great CRM. Everything is just in one place. It works so really, really good for us. We love it, especially for the commercial. Anything you have, you're just not digging through, files and stuff and paperwork, and it's labeled this. I can't, they don't pay me. They don't sponsor me. Jobber, if you're out there, come on. Can I at least get a hat? I need a hat, man. I think they do good. Like I said, I would totally recommend them. Nothing but good things. I forget what the one, I always forget the name. We had to pay up front. It was like $5,000. And it was so clunky and horrible. And it was just horrible. It was just horrible. And the guy that was working for me at the time, he was like, we got to keep using it. We paid it. And I said, I was like, the hell we do? I said, this thing's going bye-bye. I said, dude, look at it this way. I said, college isn't free. I said, right now we went from this one, we went to this one that sucks. I said, now we're going to try something else. I said, because if I can't barely understand it, I said, I don't know how somebody off the street, because we had guys that were, doing subcontracting. Well, they needed that to see the job. So what they were getting into, because, that's the problem. I run into this thing where people always are like, well, what about this? Or what about that? I can literally link everything right to it in a sense. I can link the phone conversation from the first time the customer called us. I can link to the next time we talked to them, the pictures, who was there, a video. I can do everything. And it's like, here you go. As much as I know, like this, here's a video, here's pictures, here's phone conversations, here's the price, here's whatever, if you don't want to see that, you can get rid of that too. But here's everything. You need to collect a check from them. This is going to be the amount. Or a lot of times what we do is a secretary would actually send them, make them pay, or we would do like 10 to 15, 30 minutes before you're almost done. Let us know, and the secretary will contact them and say, hey, are you going to cut them a check, or do you want to pay with your first one was with a credit card? Do you want to pay in the remaining? And that works out really good. So that's like out of their hands. I always like that feature, cause I just don't do good on the phone and try to have people like sign and, it turned off, and I'm like, oh, I don't even know how to turn it back on and get back into it. It's kind of glitchy, and, you can sit there and you can email it right there from the place if you want, but secretaries do so much better. They do so much better. Well, we're getting closer. We are getting closer to the new year. Can't believe it. Sure does go by fast. You don't hear much about the politicians anymore, that's for sure. Except for Mr. T. I mean, the rest of it seems like it's pretty quiet out there on it. But anywho, like I said, if you guys got any more questions, I'll let it run for whatever. But if we're going sleepy sleep, or we're watching that ball drop, which is kind of weird. I think I heard over by the shop there in Muskegon, they're doing one. They're doing a ball drop. Seems like more ball drops are happening, more local. I think that's pretty cool. Was it the Dick Van Dyke? Is that what it's called? I was trying to, it's nobody mentioned in my last live stream about there's Ryan Seacrest, but who was it before? Was it not Dick Van Dyke, is it? It's Dick something. Who was the guy that used to do it? That was my guy that I kind of watched. Da-da. Let's check out a few of these real quick here too on the old. So Oh no, okay. See what's old rich B guy here? Oh yeah, the door distributors. Oh yeah, they got that whole fleet of trucks there. Heck yeah. That's crazy. They'll drop it off for you, especially residential. That works out real nice. I'm wondering, Rich, how Dick Clark. Was it Dick Clark? It was Dick Clark, wasn't it? Thanks, Rusty. Um, Rich, how far does those trucks will they travel? I mean, how far away are they from from your place? I'm just curious. This door distributors. And like, will they only how far will they go to deliver for some of your customers? Replacing garage door cables. A garage door torsion system. Evan sent me. I have to watch that. Anderson, just as young bull. Clark, Dick Clark. Yeah, I don't know why. I'm kind of a sucker for Dick Clark. I really liked when he did it. I think that was kind of my childhood um, thing. And then when Ryan, whatever, Seacrest, I have nothing against him. I just kind of, I don't know, kind of fell off of it. I would like to go to New York sometime and watch it though in person. But I'm gonna have to be like, I need to get one of those places like right on, like when they're on the balcony. I want the balcony, and then like when it drops, I'm going. I'm in the room right here. I'm going to sleep. uh, nice. Until what do you got on here? Not going to hear any politicians until 2 years. Is that when they're coming back up for election or something? What you got on there? So they do what is it, about 50 miles they go? They go into Lower Michigan and out past Tony. Wow. Wow. Dude, that's amazing. That's awesome, man. That they'll deliver that stuff. That's a nice service. That is a nice service. I would love that. I would eat that up in a heartbeat. I'd be like, can you guys drop it off at this location? They tell you when they're gonna do it. And then if you had like or myself or whatever, or you had like a sub, um, that'd be nice. That'd be nice. The one guy I subbed over like the Detroit area, Detroit, Michigan. He I didn't know for the longest time he was leaving openers at the driveways. He's doing the Lowe's stuff. And he was literally leaving them there. And it probably took like a year until I got a phone call from Lowe's and they were like, we got a customer complaining that you left some product there. And I'm like, what? Like, yeah. Oh, what was that? Did I glitch out for a second? That was weird. I thought I was gone. Dang. What's this say? It'll pop up. We must put in that glitching stage. It's not. It won't let. Oh, we might be losing her. We do for some reason. Happy New Year's. Because I don't know if I'll restart her up. That fire's looking pretty lonely, like it needs my attention. I can see it. It says 50